6:30.
Okay.
Thank you. I have one. Were you able to hold it up?
Yeah, it's live right now. We're streaming right now. Ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, for your purposes, we are live right now. It is streaming right now. Just so you know.
Everybody got your programs? Thanks. Don't forget to use your outside voices when you read questions. Just be close to the
We can hear it.
Raised their hand and said, why don't the candidates come to us? And we at the Allegheny Youth Book Coalition thought, you're right, why not? So we agreed, excellent question. And from that young person's question, we set to work with the Pittsburgh Public Schools and a group of really extraordinary student leaders to hold a series of interviews at each PPS high school with the mayoral candidates. These interviews were an opportunity for students to ask the candidates questions about the issues that they care about, to interact directly with the people who were asking for their vote, and to make their voices heard. And we just finished up the last one at Kappa on Monday. And while the mayor of Pittsburgh has a significant impact on the lives of young people in our community, for nearly 10 months out of the year, high school students spend most of their waking hours at school or in school-affiliated activities. And the people in charge of the schools, the school board, have huge influence on their experience there. So tonight, much like the mayoral candidates interviews, student leaders have worked to engage their peers to learn about the issues that are impacting them in their schools, to develop the questions that they will ask the candidates tonight, and to moderate the forum. So can we give a big round of applause for these amazing young people? Thank you also to Pittsburgh Public Schools for their partnership throughout this project, and to the Heinz Endowments for their generous financial support. Thank you so much to the candidates for joining us tonight, and thank you to all of you who came out tonight to learn more about the candidates and to support civic engagement. So with that, I'll turn it over to Toby.
parents per capita. And so before we hear from our school board candidates, I would just like to take a minute to tell you about what the job of the school board director or the specific geographic factor, which means that not all seats are up for election at once. The school board gathers monthly for legislative meetings and holds additional special meetings in communities. Fundamentally, the school board oversees students' learning experiences and teachers' working experiences. Broadly, they have authority over class and program offerings, classroom technology, learning materials, graduation and attendance requirements, and school safety. Importantly, the school board also manages the district's $665 million budget. They decide how to distribute funding across the schools, what program and facilities receive money, and oversee teacher salaries and staffing levels. And with that, I would like to turn it over to Lord Trumbull to introduce our candidates.
Hello, my name is Orly Trumbull. I'm a junior at Pittsburgh Obama Academy. Please join me in welcoming our candidates. So tonight we have joining us for District 1, Tawana Cook, Burrell, and Carlos Thomas. For District 3, Erica Grayson and Tanya Moores. For District 7, we have Monty Bay. And for District 9, we have Ali Tonic and Jean Walker. If you look at your programs, you'll see each of the candidates as well as a map of the school board districts. There are a few candidates who were unfortunately not able to join us tonight due to work and family obligations. I would also like to introduce my fellow student leaders, Deshaun Williams, Monica Montgomery, Amira Faye Blankenship, Kennedy Gilbert, Michaela Nyambi, and Kaya G. Thanks to everyone, and we can now start our interviews. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond. For the first question, we'll start with the largest candidate and work our way over. So the first question is, given the aging infrastructure in many Pittsburgh schools, how would you prioritize the district's budget to improve building conditions while ensuring all schools receive equitable resources regardless of neighborhood? You can pass the microphone over.
Yeah, sorry. Can you read it one more time so that I can get the whole comprehensive?
Of course. Given the aging infrastructure in many Pittsburgh schools, how would you prioritize the district's budget to improve building conditions while ensuring all schools receive equitable resources regardless of neighborhood?
Okay, regardless of that, but thank you for that question. It is, oh, sorry.
It is clear that many of the buildings are in need of repair. And I think if we use the funds to improve the ones that are improvable, I say. So there are a few where the renovations would take so much income, or so much, that it makes more sense to not use those buildings. Equitably using the funds for resources that would work more towards curriculum and the transition from whatever changes we make to the next stage.
So I used to go to these schools and I'm familiar with the infrastructure probably very well. Not too much has changed in, like you said, over 100 years. But I think something that we could do is take an assessment of the community standards, specifically the underserved ones. Our schools are just as well as realized as our city. And I think we have to look at what the city's doing to kind of fix that problem and remediate it.
So, district reconfiguration is hard, no matter how you spin it, how you look at it, but I really feel that we need to make sure that we're having those transparent, honest conversations of where the money is going and what schools really need the changes. I think a lot of the issues of people, the reason why a lot of people don't want to close the schools because of, we have a good community in the school. People love the feel of their school spirit in the specific schools they go to, but if we really look at the needs of our district, we should be able to really facilitate conversations to make sure that we're doing what's right for our kids and having those transparent conversations, not with just people that are sitting on the board, but people like yourself, and people, parents and community leaders and advocates that are in the schools on a day-to-day basis. I think where a lot of issues lie is that we don't have those conversations with the folks that are in the schools, that are seeing the issues that are happening with our schools, and bringing those people to the table will allow there to be equitable conversations and have everybody at the table to make the right decisions for our kids.
Our budget must always prioritize students and classmates first. We need to make sure every dollar is used wisely, focus on what directly improves students' learning and support teachers, and provide safe and well resources for schools. I also believe in transparency and accountability so that the community knows how funds are being used and can trust that we are managing public resource responsibility.
First things first, first we want to advocate to the state for more money for PGS. We want to get with the city and see if we can do something about that tax that we, the money that we pay the city, the $25 million that we give them is ironically our budget shortfall at PGS, so we definitely want to build the bridge. I'm big on community input and building bridges, so that's my thing there. And as far as that, we prioritize the schools with the most needs.
Hi, I'm Allie Matana, again, running in District 9. Thank you for bringing us together tonight. What a great example of civic engagement. The opportunity to have equitable buildings that are serving our students in great public schools, no matter our address, or income, race, gender identity, is defined by a budget. And our budget speaks to what we value in the schools. A budget has got to be transparent so that all of the public knows what to expect from our public schools. And a board can demonstrate leadership by asking students what they want from their schools. Knowing your time in high school, if you all had opportunity to weigh in about the conditions of your buildings or the amenities you would like during the facility utilization consulting part of the facility utilization plan, did you have opportunities to answer a survey? And how about for younger students? Our middle and elementary school students asked about what they want from their buildings because these decisions will affect them. Their maintenance workers who know the conditions of our buildings and what you experience your learning conditions too. We have a facilities officer who can help, and all the maintenance workers help define this. The current school closure plan, facility utilization plan, has made apparent to the public the age of the building, but a lot more could be part of the decision making. And finally, our students regularly collaborate with by the board. There are ways to do that structurally within the board, and I look forward to pursuing these if I'm elected.
Does this one work? Good.
Yes.
Don't stretch it too far. Let's go. All right,
Thank you for that question. It's a really important question, but first of all, thank you all for taking your time to be here tonight. Thank you for all of the organizations that put this together. One of the challenges with campaigning is we don't always get to get a critical mass of folks together in the same room at the same time, and these types of forums make it happen. So when we talk about facilities and resources, I think it's important that we look at it in two different ways. One is we can look at the facilities themselves. What is the amount of money that's needed to make sure that they have the spaces and places and resources within each building? And a lot of those maintenance and repairs and upgrades come through a 7-year capital plan that is separate from our annual operating budget. And so when we talk about and look at what are we going to invest money-wise into buildings to make sure that those spaces and places are working for you, then we have to take a good look, not just this year, but several years down the road, and decide which buildings do we want to invest in. And what we've learned over the last several years is that there are some buildings where it makes more sense to put money into than others. The second space we have to look at is equitable resources. And so when I think about equitable resources for schools, I don't think about buildings necessarily. I think about how do we create cultures and environments that foster equitable resources. And so the first step is making sure that our school buildings have a population that allow us to put the proper resources in. A quick example, in the last 15 seconds, the north side of Pittsburgh has 4 middle school programs. All of them are fairly small, all of them are okay. We have enough students for one really great, highly resourced school, and that's what we should be shooting for.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Wonderful answer from all of you. If you don't mind, could you state your names for the next question so we start speaking? And could we start with Carlos Thomas for the next question? My name is Rachel Williams, and I'm junior class president at Academic Alliance. What plans do you have to start or expand student-on-student mentorship programs to help students academically and personally, especially at under-resourced schools? I'm happy to answer that question first. Mostly because I work within that field currently. My name is Carlos Thomas, by the way. I think that we need to partner together with programs that are already in existence. There's some really great after-school programs, and school programs that ultimately need help. And I think the more we collaborate with DHS and our county and our city resources, the more robust programs that we can get. Currently, right now, we have a program that's funded by Hines, the county, some other partners, and it's like, we're really doing great work. But I think that with enhanced that collaboration with a partnership with the school district, a better partnership with the school district.
Erica Grayson, District 3. I will actually slightly piggyback on what Carlos said. I think we don't do enough looking inward with a lot of the nonprofits and organizations that are already in existence in our districts. I work for an organization, the Early Excellence Project. We do high impact tutoring in the Hill District specifically at Miller Elementary, Wild Elementary. And a lot of our focus is really being able to talk to the kids, hear the kids, help them with literacy issues, help them fill that gap that the teachers aren't able to do in the school district during the school time. But also really talking to the kids and understanding their likes and what they want to do. I think as adults, we assume we know what's best for them, but understanding what their likes are and kind of meet different organizations that can meet those needs that are already in existence. Because you'll be surprised how many organizations in the city of Pittsburgh, whether that's with the trades or with that higher education, whether that's with exploring different areas of careers, that a lot of organizations already exist that can connect with the kids within the school district. Also, really meeting kids where they are, whether that's with people that are close to their age. I know that sometimes it's harder to relate to the teachers that are currently in the school, but if we pull into the organizations that we have here in the district that have people who work there that are close to high school age, they'll be able to connect with them to get better results when it comes to the peer-to-peer mentorship. Thank you.
Tommy Forbes, District 3. What I'm looking for my vision for the education in our communities is one where every student can reach their full potential, regardless of their background or challenges. I envision schools that are not only the center of learning, but also safe and inclusive. Spaces where students are supported, valued, center of learning, but also safe. Encouraging to growth, I want to see a system where families, educators, and community members work together to create a thriving, equitable education and environment.
Monty Day, District 7. I want to piggyback on what Candidate Grayson said, where you definitely have to get with the communities. You get the kids, like, to be honest with you. You say you gotta talk to the kids. We gotta talk to you guys. see what you're interested in, you know, because again, like Eric said, we can't assume what you guys are into, what your likes are, you know, because times are different than when I came up, you know. Part of that with me is being endorsed by FLC. I go for my views on expanding opportunities for the trades for our kids in PPS because everybody's not here for college or for college is a good thing, you know. So we want to open up more opportunities and my views on that and my vision on that definitely is amazing for you guys. Again, we need people that you need to see people with also with stories that resonate. You know, like me, a guy like me from the community who didn't get a lot of opportunities coming up, but our hard work pays off. You know, that goes a long way, definitely.
Running in District 9. Thank you for the question. And I'll answer by saying that I'm a proud public school graduate also, and my time in school shaped my values and the sort of work that I was willing to take on. I work in union halls and coalition spaces throughout my career, listening in for the issues affecting working families and the students in their lives, and how we can work together, you know, for solutions. And when I think about the power of, you know, public schools in supporting mentorship, so often the mentorship opportunities that I'm aware of start in a top-down way, where particular organizations or businesses offer up, you know, their leaders to be mentors, and great relationships can happen through that. But what if students were working with teachers, staff, and community members, parents, to identify the mentorships from leaders in their community that really speaks to who they are and what they'd like to explore? And they aren't only in traditional fields or professional fields. They can be, you know, people who are community leaders who help lead community organizations. I'm also endorsed and proud to be endorsed by the local labor council, whose workers are who work in so many different fields. They are some of the community leaders who, whether they work in health fields or the building and construction trades or in government work, to be folks as mentors. And finally, I wonder if the community schools model and partnerships that are authentic with the community could help uncover some more mentorship opportunities when community schools are done right and taken across our district. Thank you.
Gene Walker, currently serving as school board president of Pittsburgh Public Schools. This question is really interesting because I've done this. I spent 9 years at the Pittsburgh province. During those 9 years, from 2009 to 2018, we did just that. We brought mentoring and mentors into the school buildings on a weekly and monthly basis to really find out what it was that young people were looking for. And so I'll be honest, I came into that process thinking, well, I used to be a kid, I know what's going on, I have kids of my own. But what happened was a shift happened because we started listening. We started listening to the young people in that room. I realized quickly that it wasn't about whatever plans or goals that I had, but it was really about identifying the goals and plans that the young people that we serve. And so for 4 years, I worked out of the province running that program specifically around African American males. We turned it over to the district, and for another 5 or 6 years, they ran what was called the We Promise program. I think there's some guys in the room that probably were a part of that. And we would bring not just the young men from all over the district together, but we would bring professionals from all walks of life to spend time with young people in those rooms to talk about their dreams to do professional development. And so when we think about how do we increase mentorship in Pittsburgh Public Schools, from a board perspective, it starts with creating policy that makes it easier for organizations to be a part of the community. Right now, it's super hard to get programs into schools. And I will say, this is my last point, you talked about under-resourced schools. The schools that are struggling the most, some of the schools that are struggling the most are the ones that have the most programs in them. And so what we really have to look at is the quality of the program, not the quantity, and make sure that students are served that way.
To Monica
say that one of the most important things that a student can do or have in school periods is to have at least one adult person in the building with whom he or she connects. And you'll be surprised at who that person can be. It can be the person who works in the cafeteria, it can be your teacher, it can be the principal, the counselor, but every student, and ask yourself that, is the one adult in the building with whom you connect. Everything has pretty much been said about student mentorship programs. I work with the organization NEED, and we go into schools and try to find students who are on a pathway to nursing or teaching out in Starbucks, Woodland Hills, a little bit of Westinghouse. I've seen the significance of those kinds of programs and mentorship. It's exposing students to a world outside of the one they know, however that looks and how you can do that. Again, everybody should have a mentor. We need to use our community organizations like community empowerment, like Poise, and the Pittsburgh Promise. Organization.
Background, whatever, that we need to actually stick together and
my name is Makaya G. I'm Senior Class President at Pittsburgh West House. And my question for y'all today is, how can you adjust budget applications to address chronic absenteeism and what programs would you most increase student engagement and attendance?
Can you repeat that one more?
To address chronic increased student engagement and attendance. We're going to start with Ali Benetoni.
Thank you. Another important question, because we want students to meet the full expectation they have. Attendance is fundamental, and so our schools have to be safe, healthy, and inclusive spaces where they can learn subjects interesting to them. That means availability.
Learn from our kids.
well, I'm going to piggyback off of each and every one of y'all up here who said something. Actually, I have worked in the Erica can vouch for this. I have worked in the after school program, which actually we have everything there for these children to do each and every day. And this is something that we need to actually put into the schooling system for the children who want to come to school. There at the after school program, we had art, we had everything there that a child could imagine that they wanted to do. If it was something that we didn't have there for them, actually we would provide it for them. And that's something that we need to do in the schooling system.
Morning, District 7. Y'all start talking about chronic absenteeism. I thought back when I was young, my mom didn't play about missing no school. You had to be, boy, you don't know how sick you had to be missing a period school. But anyway, so I'm over in District 7, and one of our schools is Arlington, K-8. It's a community school. One of the programs is the novice program, which actually gets the kids to school. One of them, panelists up there actually spoke on a similar thing earlier. But, let me get what I'm saying. Yes, I'm a big fan of community schools. Again, Arlington's one. I'm a board member on the Hilltop Urban Farm. Arlington, K-8, comes over there and learns urban farming. It's education outside the classroom, right? We also have Concord, the partner with the Nepalis and Louise. They're actually just on the farm on Wednesday, I believe, to learn another skill. But I'm a huge fan of community schools, and I believe the community is what it takes to, to tackle chronic absenteeism seriously. We need more people to get involved with you guys, man. We kind of turned the blind eye to y'all. I feel bad for that. We shouldn't have done that. But I want to get a little personal in my last minute, speaking of chronic absenteeism. When I went to Carrick in that grade, there was a lot going on in Pittsburgh in the mid-90s, and it caused a lot of us to stop going to school, man. There was a lot of gang violence going direct to the city, and it costs us, and that was a very like lesson I learned in life, you know, because it helps when the kids who are affected by that. So anything we can do to meet you guys where you're at, reach out, I'm all for it, you know, to get you guys in the school. That's where it's at, seriously, to take you further than you ever imagined in your life, further than not.
Hello, yes, I'm Mary Blankenship from Brashear High School, and we just wanted to take a moment to thank all of our candidates for their time. We just wanted to let y'all know that if one, if you each have 1 minute before closing remarks.
Well, thank you again. I will clear you 2 minutes is the sweet spot, like 1 minute short. But I want to thank everyone who's here tonight. I have been honored to serve as Pittsburgh Public School Board member for District 9 and School Board President over the last several years. I have been endorsed by a lot of them for better education, Pittsburgh Federation of Teachers. Allegheny County Democratic College. We have an obligation here in Pittsburgh to educate students to the best. So if we continue to do what we've always done, everything will stay the same. And so we're at a critical point of change. I've been leading that change for the last 2 years, and I look forward to continuing to lead that change with student-focused outcomes.
Thank you again for holding this tonight, and Allie Katana has spent a career working for working families, listening in to the solutions that they deserve. And my decision to run for the board is when I see the community being pushed out from decision making, when I see students only getting to speak up through surveys that out-of-town consultants bring to you, and not even enough voice. I'm excited about the opportunity this year in our public schools when we create equitable, safe, and healthy schools across all our neighborhoods. And I want to protect your right to have a say in the future of our schools. I believe in strong public schools for our city, our communities, and our future. And if you're ready to choose a path that looks away from closures, please vote for Allie Batonic on May 20th. Share this with your friends and family. Thank you.
Closing, I just want to say my name is Monty Day. I'm proud of the PPS, I'm a PPS parent. I'm endorsed by PFT, AFL-CIO, Pittsburgh Regional Building Trades, State Representative Jessica Benham, Council People Bob Charlemagne, Anthony Coghill, Alabama School Board Director Jamie Petrowski, School Board Vice President Devin Tanafero, as well as various community leaders. Kids, to be honest with you, I wish I was on a stage like this when I was your age. I didn't have these opportunities. I didn't go to college. I'm not a college grad. Representation is important, okay? I just want y'all to see that there's opportunities out there for us. So everybody in the room, everybody in the crowd, grab May 20th, tell a friend, and May vote for May.
I'm Force again from District 3. Actually, I am a graduate of Pittsburgh Public School. I had 2 children who graduated from Pittsburgh Public School, and actually they are successful. Basically, what I'm saying is that y'all here, we have to actually stick by y'all, push y'all further. I'm like Marty here said, I'm not a college graduate. Actually, I worked hard to get to where I'm at today. And actually, I'm where I am today as a supervisor of the transportation department.
Person, District 3. I'm not from Pittsburgh, but I am a public school graduate from K all the way to 12. All 3 of my children attended Pittsburgh, but I'm not gonna spout endorsements or anything like that. But what I will say is, everybody sees the climate that we are living in. May So May 20th, vote here, Grace.
Work speaks for itself, but I just want to bring you back. I ain't been in this building since I graduated. So, this brings back a lot of memories, and it increases the reason why we were in this seat in the first place, right? As Bonnie mentioned, I wish that we had an opportunity like this. I served on the Vision Council at some point in time, and we wanted things like this, but I appreciate that, you know, that we're taking this initiative to bring candidates to our students, because what stood, UP Students said the revolution will always be inherited better. And I'm a strong believer in that, and just, I appreciate you all for being here, and make sure that y'all vote when y'all turn 18.
Tawana Burnell. I grew up in a single parent home on the Hill. I'm a proud graduate of Peabody High School, now Obama. And I am also a proud graduate of Spelman College. I have a graduate degree, and by most indications, based on my career, and those with whom I have worked would say that I'm a success story. And so, well, that's maybe a little bit honest, but I've done fairly well professionally. And I came from these streets, those streets on the Hill, Watt Valley. What I would say is that Pittsburgh is an amazing and beautiful city. It is a divided city, but it doesn't look the way it can look. So part of my dilemma is trying to figure out how to make it good for everybody. The school system has not served all of our students well. We need to get to the bottom of it, and I'm willing to do the work and invest my time and energy and intellect and experience in making that happen. Thank you very much.
What district?
One.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Yes, we definitely believe in our students. You can watch this all over again on youtube.com/18 tonight. So make sure you get a chance to look at it again and digest some of the questions that our students actually developed. Montgomery, our student, wanted to support this effort as well. So the next time we'll be in Penn Hills doing this work, Allegheny Youth Coalition. They're looking at me like, oh, girl, that's crazy. But no, we really believe in our students. PA Vote, the Civic Center, the National Council of Jewish Women of Pittsburgh, the League of Women Voters of Greater Pittsburgh, the Black Political Empowerment Project, Women's Foundation, which has a project for Girl Girls, and of course, the Pittsburgh Public Schools. We want to make sure that we acknowledge them as well for the hard work that they do in making sure that our students have a voice. So, on behalf of our partner organizations, I want to extend our heartfelt thanks to the school administrators, staff, and central office for their invaluable support and making it possible for elected officials to visit every high school in our city. We went to every high school to make sure that our students heard from our elected officials. Thank you, Pittsburgh Westinghouse, because they're the ones that actually kicked us in the book. lady, what are you doing for us? We also, these visits offered students the opportunity to hear directly from leaders about their vision for making Pittsburgh a city that serves everyone. And that includes the board members. And if I didn't introduce myself to you, my name is Dr. Regina Holly. And my expectation as a citizen of Pittsburgh is to make sure that our schools are well-funded and they're a place for everyone. We are especially grateful to our prospective board members who shared their plans for ensuring our schools are places for learning, inquiry, and growth into responsible adulthood for our students. And like our superintendent has said, and I made this statement at every one of our elected official interviews, our superintendent talks about having receipts. Let me tell you, the community will be looking for receipts from our board members to make sure that you're going to do what you said you're going to do for our students. Our primary goal throughout these interviews, presentations, and learning experiences has been to ensure that the voices of our youth are not only heard, but respected. Their insights and perspectives are essential to shaping a more inclusive and responsive educational system for our city. Our partners with Allegheny Youth Fellow believe in our students. We also want you to know that there will be another form, a candidate form for Court of Common Pleas, which will be 8:30 p.m. and it will be hosted at the Rudolph Shalom congregation on Fifth Avenue. Please make sure you come out and join us. The VIP voting is Power is sponsoring this, or sponsoring this particular candidate event. Dinner will be served at 5:30 and the forum will start immediately at 6:30. I'm going to leave you with this quote from Martin Luther King Jr. The function of education is to teach one to think intensively and to think critically. Intelligence plus character. That is the goal of a true educational system. Thank you, and everybody have a good night.